should be the most pissed off about the gun control debate in this country? Is it the left? Is it the right? Actually, it's you and me. It's young women. Because unarmed women typically don't stand a chance against a man who can physically overpower them. We're made to believe that every single time we leave our house, the chances of us being involved in a mass shooting are dangerously high. We're made to believe that if we're black, our chances of being gunned down by a white police officer are even higher. And we're made to believe that if we just implemented something called common sense gun control, we'd be a safer country. So what is the truth? Let me explain in the shortest, fastest, and most concise way possible what young people, and especially young women, need to know about guns in America. Also, grandpas. Get a gun, grandpa.
Los Santos neighbors get no sleep, beefing with anybody, competing, even police.
I'm AlexClark, and this is a quick politic on gun control. The first myth that we keep being told is that mass shootings are something we need to be worried about on a daily basis, that the odds of being the victim of a mass shooting are one of the biggest concerns we should have as Americans. This is anything but true. In fact, statistically, you're more likely to be struck by lightning than be involved in a mass shooting in this country. Shall we talk murder?
So we're like seriously using the word murder?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Look, the average chance of being murdered in the United States is 1 in 20,000, and that's just the average. That isn't even talking about you and I specifically or including all the other individual factors that contribute to that probability, like living in a high crime versus low crime area. Then add in the odds of being murdered by a complete stranger, even lower.
Where did it happen?
Down on Orange Grove.
That's right down the street.
I know.
Statistically, you should be more worried about someone in your own family killing you than a rando at Walmart.
I'm asleep with one eye open tonight.
So why is it beneficial for the gun-grabbing left to exaggerate people's fears and terrorize them into thinking that it's highly probable to be shot in the face while you're picking up Pop-Tarts? Because fear is the most powerful manipulator. That's why some people truly think that giving up one of their civil liberties is going to suddenly save the country from mass shootings.
Gun control means using both hands.
Have you ever heard of Mother Jones? It's one of the furthest left media outlets to exist. And according to them, 495 American citizens were killed in mass shootings between 2007 and 2017. That's about 50 people a year out of a little over 328 million who live in the US. That means your chances of being killed in a mass shooting every year are 1 in 6.6 million.
It's extremely rare.
So does saying that mass shootings aren't as common as the media wants you to believe mean that I'm unsympathetic, that I'm less compassionate and just want people to die? Absolutely not. What I'm saying is that one of the oldest tricks in the book is to use a tragedy to guilt people into thinking they're bad people because they don't agree with certain policies. If gun control was the answer to mass shootings, then why has every gun control measure that has been pushed by the federal government had zero impact on the likelihood of mass shootings? Why have gun purchases continued to rise and yet mass shootings have actually gone down? Yeah, bet you didn't know that, did ya? In fact, it's because I am incredibly sympathetic to victims of violent crimes that I want policies that actually will work enacted to save lives, not ones that won't.
That's called common sense. That in your tiny mind is not common.
All right, so mass shootings rarely happen, but what about police shooting black people? Should we have gun control at least for that reason?
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
Let me say something I think we all need a reminder of from time to time. Just because something trends on Twitter doesn't mean it's actually happening at unprecedented rates. There are almost 42 million black people in America. According to the Washington Post, in 2019, 13 unarmed black Americans were shot by the police. And no, not all of those police officers were even white. The idea that white cops are systemically going after black people is a lie. Every single piece of data proves this is false, and it should be good news. So why aren't groups like Black Lives Matter shouting it from the rooftops? Because that doesn't make money for the mansions that they want to buy.
So now the truth comes out, doesn't it?
The race hustlers like BLM Inc., Al Sharpton, and Shaun King use the grift of keeping black people in a perpetually terrified state to make money off of them. Meanwhile, getting them to vote in left-wing white politicians who push for things like gun control, which always hurts the black community disproportionately. Who is hurting the most in cities like Chicago where there is gun control? It's the black community. Criminals get the guns and then kill people in their own neighborhoods. And spare me with this, well, it's Indiana's lax gun law laws BS. If Indiana is responsible for Chicago's gun crime, why isn't Indiana's own gun violence at record highs?
You're making me uncomfortable.
All right, so maybe you're still wondering what's so bad about common sense gun laws? Well, for one, there is no such thing as a common sense gun law. All gun laws are unconstitutional. And let me translate what the phrase common sense gun laws actually means. It means only celebrities and elites and law enforcement will be allowed to own guns.
Rich people.
And can someone explain to me how 98% of mass shootings occur in gun-free zones? Everyone likes to talk about countries like New Zealand, so let's talk about New Zealand. They've had some of the strictest gun laws in the entire world and implemented just about every single type of common sense gun legislation that gun control activists claim they want here. And yet, they've still had mass shootings. How is that possible? Because evil exists. And as much as I wish it was an option, you can't legislate evil. The truth is, mass shooters benefit perhaps the most from stricter gun control because they know the likelihood that someone armed will be there to stop them is slim to none.
You think this will work?
Unfortunately, no. I wish there was a way to prevent mass shootings from ever happening. Every conservative and liberal does. There really isn't a foolproof way to predict or prevent tragedies like mass shootings. In fact, in almost all of the most recent gun violence incidents we have had, the FBI had been notified, sometimes years in advance, of the perpetrator's action. Even in states with strict gun laws or instances where the government knew someone was a potential threat, they did nothing. The truth is, if you're lucky, you will be an armed person if, God forbid, you ever found yourself in a situation where your life was at risk, or an armed person will be near you.
Should I shoot him? Should I shoot him? Just tell me who I should shoot and I'll shoot.
This was a quick politic. Come back to this if you ever find yourself needing to discuss the gun control debate. Like this episode, let me know in the comments if you're for or against gun control. Share this episode to your stories and hit the save button so that you can find this episode easily if you need it. We're back tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. It's pop culture without the propaganda every single day. I'm AlexClark, and this is POPlitics. Click below to watch yesterday's episode. Please subscribe, thumbs up, share this video, and ring the bell for notifications so you never miss the conservative. And make sure you're following this show at POPlitics on Instagram for even more CUTEservative content.